Hey cuties, what's up? We are back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching Gold Medalist killed because she refused to make tea for him, obviously by Dark Asia with Megan. Now, today I am obviously running late again. Like I'm actually late now. It's 8:30, so I'm 30 minutes late to just recording the video because just time didn't add up, we'll say. So oof, my bad. It's 21st, 22nd, so tomorrow, again, don't know what we'll do. I might have to do 2 rad videos today, just, well, not 2, but record 2 and upload the second one tomorrow. So I don't have to worry about that, because then on the 23rd, I said I was going to do stuff live. I'm going to try to hold up to that, and then, like, we'll just see. But yeah, like, who knows what's going to happen here? Like, and gold medalist, I'm assuming that means this is an Olympian, or is it just the one gold medal in the competitions? Either way, it's like, really? What could this really end up being? Just like, she didn't want to make you tea? Is she your girlfriend? She didn't make you tea and now you had to get rid of her? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, though, no hater segment today. No radical break because, again, of course, this video is too short for that. So we can just get straight into it, of course. Disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised as usual.
She was 22 years old, a state-level basketball player who had represented Nagaland at the U23 National Basketball Championship in Guwahati, a gold medalist at the Nagaland Olympics, an honor student who topped her economics class at St. Joseph's College in Kohima. On October 25th, 2025, her body was found hidden under fire.
Just constantly new. So I guess I'm always talking about like how she's always doing new things, or she's doing a lot of new things, and then we don't have any conclusion to the story because they're brand new, or the person might not be found, or again they haven't been punished. They're still going through the court and whatnot. But I mean, you're always going to run out of stuff to talk about in the past, right? So you have to just start talking about all the new stuff that's going on.
Firewood and closed near a ring well below her residence in Old Ministers Hill Colony, Kohima, Nagaland. No one ever imagined that her life would end over something so trivial, a refusal to immediately make tea. This is the case of Viozonu Zhao.
Okay, that's her name.
When I cover stories like this, I'm always reminded.
Oh, is this an ad? This is the first time in a century that she's doing an ad read in her video. I think that's what this is. So, of course, we'll skip to the actual footage. I'll tell you what the ad is after. Alright, this was an ad for Morgan and Morgan. I was not seeing that coming at all. The QR code down. Oh, I'm in the way. Can I get out of the way? Other way, maybe? Other way? No. Let me just grab that. There you go.
How to fight back.
Yeah. Morgan, law
October
firm.
24th, 2025. It was supposed to be an ordinary Friday. Basketball practice had been cancelled due to bad weather. Zhao's coach, Salu Kadete from Team ABC, would later say Zhao would usually come even on off days for practice, but that day she didn't turn up. That afternoon, around 2 p.m., something happened at home that would end Viozonu's life. The next day, at around 7 a.m., neighbors near the ring well noticed something disturbing, what looked like stacked firewood and discarded materials. When they moved closer to investigate, they realized it wasn't trash at all. It was Viozonu. They immediately called the police, and by 7:45 a.m., officers from South Police Station had been notified and arrived to secure the scene. The victim had visible injuries to her head. The deliberate way her body had been concealed made it clear someone had worked hard to hide what they'd done.
Yeah, boyfriend or brother or father.
Viozonu Zhao was identified quickly. 22 years old, daughter of the late Kenetuto Zhao from Jakama village.
Okay, well he's already gone, so it wasn't him.
She lived at this very residence with family members. This discovery sent shockwaves through Old Ministers Hill Colony. This was a residential area where people knew their neighbors. But who was Vyazanu Zhao? Vyazanu Zhao was born on September 19, 2003 in Jokama Village, Kohima District, Nagaland, India. And she was the daughter of Kenituto Zhao. Her childhood was marked by loss. Her father died on October 12, 2011, when Vyazanu was just 8 years old. What happened to her mother is not publicly known. No news reports mentions her, and the family has not spoken about her publicly. After her father's death, Vyazanu and her younger brother appear to have been raised by their paternal grandmother and aunts at the family residence in Old Ministers Hill Colony, Kohima. Despite the early tragedy of losing her father, Vyazanu thrived. She became a standout student and a fierce competitor on the basketball court. She was a fighter. That's what her coach called her, a fighter who always stood for what was right. Kurilasaku Keiretsu, president of the Kohima District Basketball Association, remembered when she represented Kohima and won gold at the Nagaland Olympics in 2022. She didn't just play the game, he said. She was the heart of the game. She was a role model for every kid who watched her play, proving that hard work and a good spirit could take you anywhere. She had represented Nagaland at the Under-23 National Basketball Championship in Guwahati earlier in 2025. She had joined Team ABC in June 2025. Her coach, Salu Kadete, remembered her as eager to learn and joyful in exploring the fundamentals of the game. Those who played with her described her as passionate, someone who showed up even on off days for extra practice. Her friend Lika Ai described her as not just an athlete, but an intelligent student. Vyazanu had recently graduated from St. Joseph's College in Kohima, where she topped her class in the economics department. At 22, she had her entire future ahead of her. Graduate studies, a professional basketball career, a family.
I mean, as usual, like, it's usually what happens, like she just said, have everything ahead of them and then just take it away. Again, we're still hung up on the who is it, because we know the why, but was it her brother? Was it just her boyfriend, a husband? I know we're going to find out, but it's just like, who did she know that was this rageful question mark? Again, like I said, it wasn't her father because her father is already gone. You could make the statement, well, I guess at least she's not with him now, question mark. Some people would say that, right?
Of her own someday. And all of it ended in one moment of rage over a cup of tea. News of Vyazanu's death spread rapidly through Kohima and across Nagaland. The basketball community was devastated. The Nagaland Basketball Association issued a statement. Vyazanu was more than an athlete. She was a symbol of hope, discipline, and determination for countless young sportspersons across Nagaland. On October 25th, thousands gathered at PHQ Junction in Kohima for a candlelight vigil organized by the Jokama Village Council.
Yeah, that many people really know. I mean, some people might just be doing it because, young girl was, killed, so they want to show their sympathies. She might have just known or had affected this many people, right? Because she was a good basketball player, good at college, etc., etc.
More vigils followed. On October 30th, the basketball community held their own vigil at the DKL basketball court in Seikazo, the court where Vyazanu had played so many times. Candles illuminated the space where she used to dribble, shoot, defend. Her family member, Lauren Solo, spoke at the vigil. The way she was taken from us was senseless and very cruel. It leaves us with anger and a deep sense of injustice. Meanwhile, police were working to solve what they called a blind case. There were no clear leads initially, no obvious suspects, no witnesses. And the location where Vyazanu's body was found wasn't where she had been killed. A special investigation team was formed on October 26, led by Additional Superintendent of Police Kei Soriso and with 8 other members. And they worked hard, interviewing family members and neighbors, examining phone records, tracking movements.
It seems like they did really try to find who this is, if we actually know, because we know him and it has to do with T. So that must mean they did find the guy in, like, what, a month or 2? Because who knows when they actually ended up finding them. When did this video go up? 3 weeks ago? So yeah, only a month and a half, I guess, or a month and a few weeks they had to find him before this video went up. So I feel like they really did try to find this guy. If they had, like, no clues whatsoever and they still found him.
Forensic analysis revealed blood evidence inside the house, confirming the murder had occurred indoors, specifically in the kitchen.
That's more evidence.
Post-mortem examination showed injuries from a blunt object to the head, resulting in a fractured skull. There were no signs of strangulation or sexual assault. After 11 days of investigation, on the night of November 4th, 2025, police arrested Samuel Zhao, her 31-year-old adopted uncle who lived in the same house.
Wasn't even on my radar that it was the uncle.
The revelation shocked the community. This wasn't a stranger, this was family. During interrogation, Samuel confessed to his crime. According to him, he asked Vyazanu to make tea for him that afternoon. And she was on her phone and replied dismissively, not immediately getting up to make it. And that simple act of not jumping to make tea cost Viozano her life. Samuel became enraged. He grabbed a piece of firewood and struck Viozano on the head multiple times. The blows were severe, fracturing her skull. She collapsed. What happened next showed this wasn't just a moment of rage. It was followed by cold, calculated concealment. Samuel covered Viozano's head with a sweater. He claimed it was to stop the bleeding, but it also suffocated her. He switched off her phone, removed the SIM card, and broke the handset into pieces. Then he kept her body hidden in his room overnight. The next morning, October 25th, he threw the broken phone pieces into a garbage truck. The blood-stained sweater went into a nearby gutter. Then he moved Viozano's body to the area near the ring well in the basement below the residence. He covered it with a sack, clothes, and firewood, making it look like discarded materials. His account matched the physical evidence. The timeline fit. Everything investigators had pieced together aligned with what he described.
Why are we saying it like that? Because it's almost like you're saying he didn't do it, and he's just telling you exactly what you want to hear to match the police's description. I'm guessing that's not the case. He actually did it. Which, does this guy just have issues? Because how do you just like snap and just kill somebody because they didn't make tea? That is your like family, question mark. Like your niece, right? Just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to get rid of her now because she didn't make tea. Is he constantly doing this, asking her for tea and getting mad at her when she doesn't do what he tells her? Or just in general? Like, her not doing what he tells her to do and then he gets mad.
Police confirmed that at the time of the incident, only 3 people were in the house: Viozano, Samuel, and the grandmother, who was on the terrace tending to plants and unaware of what was happening in the kitchen below. But
Below, because it's like, how did he do it so quietly then? If there's multiple people in the house, then, well, I guess it was just the grandmother. It wasn't just someone else. It was her, him, and the grandmother. The grandmother was outside, technically, I guess is why I couldn't hear it.
the community doesn't believe the full story has been told. The tea explanation may be technically true as the immediate trigger, but it doesn't explain the underlying hatred or motive. Rumors started circulating on social media. People speculated that Samuel may have harbored deep resentment toward Viozano for years. Resentment born of his own marginalized position, adopted outsider, no community recognition, no achievements, versus her celebrated status. Every day in that household, he may have felt his insignificance reinforced, and perhaps he expected, at minimum, that she would treat him with the respect due to an elder male relative. When she didn't, when she treated him as unimportant, stayed on her phone, dismissed his request, it confirmed everything he already felt, that he was nothing to her, nothing to the family, nothing to the community. So some people say probably the murder wasn't about tea. The tea was just the moment when years of accumulated bitterness exploded. There was also speculation about accomplices. The president of Southern Ngami Youth Organization that took the lead in organizing the major protest rally for Viozano said that given the victim's background as an active athlete, it was unlikely that a single individual could have committed the crime. He suggested that she may have endured severe pain before her death, indicating possible involvement of multiple perpetrators. The logic here is that Viozano was a trained basketball player, young, fit, and athletic. So he demanded a thorough, uncompromising investigation to arrest all accomplices, warning against accepting a lone offender theory.
Okay, so are we going with that being the case, or we've just jumped to it's just the uncle end of the story? Because again, like I was saying earlier, she was kind of saying that he fit the description perfectly in a way that makes it seem like, okay, maybe this is not the full story, and maybe he's just telling them what they need to hear, question mark.
Posts allege that Viozano's aunt and grandmother participated in the murder. Others shared graphic details about the crime that had no basis in fact, claims about how her body was concealed, details about injuries that didn't match the forensic evidence. The speculation grew so rampant that on November 5th, Kohima police issued a stern public warning. They said those spreading fake or defamatory content would face strict legal consequences, including immediate arrest, criminal prosecution, and imprisonment. So what were the verified facts? Police found no evidence of accomplices. Samuel acted alone. He killed Viozano in the kitchen around 2 p.m. on October 24th. He hid the body in his room and moved it himself to the Ringwell area the next morning. The Port Socal, the traditional Naga clan organization, did ostracize Viozano's aunt and grandmother from the village as part of customary law. According to Kel members, this was done taking the possible involvement of the aunt and grandmother into consideration. The aunt had been the one who adopted Samuel into the family. The grandmother was home during the murder, though police confirmed she was on the terrace tending plants. However, again, police have found no evidence that either woman was involved in or had knowledge of the crime.
Where is this location? The house? This is the house? I wasn't expecting that. A lot of flowers, though. Like, what is going on in the center here? All the stuff just... It looks ransacked.
The Kel later clarified that no specific period of ostracization could be declared until guilt was established. So this appears to be a case of the community acting on suspicion and traditional customary law, not on proven facts. As Kohima police stated in their advisory, the path to justice for Vyazano Zhao requires truth and integrity.
I'm guessing because she just said that they were, like, I don't know, ostracized out of the city or out of town or whatever. So I'm assuming that means they, like, literally kicked them out of their house. And then it looks ransacked because that's exactly what it is. Like, people have gone in there, put the flowers down, but the people who used to live there aren't there anymore.
Not speculation and malice. But there was another troubling dimension to this case, one that threatened to turn a family tragedy into communal conflict. So Samuel was of Nepali descent. He had been adopted into the Zhao family by Vyazano's aunt, though the exact nature and legality of this adoption remained unclear. The report Socal stated there were no official documents, no ST certificate, no indigenous certificate supporting his use of the Zhao surname, only an Aadhaar card. In the aftermath of the murder, some began questioning not just Samuel's actions, but his identity, his ethnicity, his belonging. The Association of Kohima Municipal Wards Council expressed serious concern over adoption practices by many Nagas, calling the case a big eye-opener. They called upon citizens to think twice before adopting non-indigenous Nagas. The implication was clear. Samuel's crime was being linked by some to his ethnic background. Kohima police saw this dangerous narrative taking shape and intervened decisively. In their public advisory, they warned explicitly against inciting violence or communal hatred by linking the crime to any specific community or ethnicity without official evidence. Such activities, they stated, would be met with the full force of the law. The warning was necessary because Samuel Zhao's crime had nothing to do with his ethnicity. It had everything to do with his choices, his rage, his decision to strike a young woman who didn't immediately obey his demand for tea.
Again, like, why? I mean, we kind of can speculate, like we've already done. It's, you know, just years of hatred, but is that what it is? I don't know if this is, like, the full story, right? Like, they keep saying, but that's all we got?
Domestic violence knows no ethnicity. Murder knows no community boundaries. Violence against women exists across all communities, all backgrounds, all societies. The real questions this case raises are about domestic violence, about power dynamics within families, about why a young woman's refusal to immediately make tea resulted in her death. These are the conversations Nagaland needs to have, not conversations about who belongs and who doesn't based on ethnic origin. Here's important context. Though seldom spoken about and considered a taboo subject in the context of Naga society, domestic violence in Nagaland has become a common phenomenon. It was found that many women remain silent and deal with it privately due to fear, stigma, shame, and societal pressure.
Okay, so are we just saying it's just normal for this area? Also, is that the hungry caterpillar in the background? That's a caterpillar in the background there. I don't know, we're just, like, completely taking you out of the story for a second, but I assume that there's some sort of education thing going on in the background. That's that might be the caterpillar from the Hungry Caterpillar story or whatever. Anyways, so we were just saying this is just a normal occurrence in this location, and thus that could also lead to why he did this, because it's just normal for women to be abused in this location. I'm guessing? Question mark. So he was already just used to doing it, but he might have been doing this sort of thing all the time, except now he was just like, he really got mad, and maybe he didn't know how far he was going to go. Like, he didn't think she was going to die, I don't know.
Significantly, there was another murder in Nagaland just months earlier, with eerily similar circumstances. One person, identified as Pratsovenyo of Thuvapisumi village, was arrested, allegedly for murder of his wife, Ruchuvalu, and the victim died due to impact hit by a blunt object on her head. As one representative from Jakama Women's Society said during the vigils, this is not just an issue concerning women, it concerns all. Families must communicate, and both genders must learn to respect one another. Samuel Zhao was charged for murder and concealment of evidence that carry severe penalties under Indian law, potentially including life imprisonment or the capital punishment. The basketball courts where Vyazano played have become quieter now. The space where she used to practice, the court where she won gold, the place where her coach remembered her dedication, all of it echoes with her absence.
I assume there's just going to be shrines just everywhere, at, like, all these basketball courts.
Vyazano Zhao was killed in her own home by someone who should have protected her. She was only 22 years old, a state-level basketball player, an honor student, a fighter who stood for what was right, a daughter, a friend, a teammate. Samuel Zhao is now in custody, awaiting trial. The legal process will determine his fate. But regardless of the verdict, nothing will bring Biazano back. Nothing.
Yeah, so again, like, we've already gotten about the whole court rigmarole hasn't gone through, so don't know what he's going to get. But we're assuming it's either life or death. That sounds weird to say it like that. I never thought about that in the context of the law, right? Because you can either get life or you can get death. It just sounds, I guess, poetic to say someone can get life or death. Because it doesn't sound like what you think it means, but it means like either you're going to stay in jail for the rest of your life or they're going to execute you. Well, I've never heard it spoken that way.
She should have had. Her story matters.
You know, like, you're either going to get life or death.
Because it shows that violence against women often happens not at the hands of strangers, but within the supposed safety of home. It matters because it raises questions about power, control, and the deadly consequences of rage over the most trivial things. Nagaland and communities everywhere must confront these issues honestly. Biazano's memory will live on in every young athlete who picks up a basketball and dares to dream. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.
Of course, that is it for today. So, unfortunate again. Don't know why I didn't think of the uncle, but I didn't know if, like, we didn't have information that she had an uncle. We had an aunt, we had brother. I assumed dad, but then we got told that dad was gone already. The uncle never even came to mind, but I figured, like, it had to be someone in the house. You know, that's why I said boyfriend or brother or dad. But I guess uncle makes sense as well. Adopted uncle, so not even like not even real family, right? Yeah, again, we can argue that this isn't the full story, especially since it was everything that the police wanted to hear. Like, I feel like we don't have enough context to be, yeah, the aunt and grandmother were in on it, or there's some sort of hidden stranger enemy that she had because she's such a good basketball player, such a good student, that someone in the background was jealous and teamed up with uncle to do this. Like, I feel like we can't really make those opinions. We can't really assume that's something that happened here. Who knows? Again, we are late today for the rad video, so my bad. That's why we're just doing a Dark Asia video today, just to get something out real quick so it's not too late. I think that's all we have to say for today. Just trying to find the throne over there. But yeah, guys, I can't stop saying guys. So yeah, Kyuuties, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, and think about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're going to watch time and subscribers, and don't forget we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, Kyuuties, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. See you.